Hey Freedom Family, this is Mark, and I am so glad you're here again at _Freedom for Life _, where we give you the tools, the truth, and the knowledge to take you from where you're at to where you're called and created to be. And I am really excited about today's conversation, because today we're going to get real about how to argue, how to fight or have a disagreement with your partner and not have it blow up your relationship. So let's get started, shall we? And as always, as we're getting started today, could you do me a favor? Could you become part of the Freedom family by subscribing? Hit that notification bell so you can be part of all these conversations that we're having. And could you put a comment down below and let us know what you want to have a conversation? What topic do you want us to tackle? And don't forget to hit that like and let us know that something we're doing resonates with you. And last but not least, as always, in that description down below, our Facebook and our Instagram pages, those links are down there, so check them out. And as we're getting started today, wow, what an interesting topic, right? How to have that disagreement and not have it blow up your relationship. We're going to be real today because this is a real topic that a lot of us deal with. And I know that for me and my wife, early on in our relationship, and I'm just going to throw this out there, we actually had some disagreements. We actually had some times and some conversations and some subjects where it got a little heated. Have you ever been there? The challenge is early in a relationship, sometimes we start to think that there's a failing in the relationship because we're not agreeing all the time. We're not understanding each other all the time. We don't have the same answer and the same response for every subject under the sun. Do you happen to know that that's healthy? That actually two people should have individual thoughts and they may not agree at all times. The fact that you're disagreeing doesn't mean you don't have a healthy relationship. It's maybe coming down to this. How are you disagreeing? How are you walking through those conversations when you and the other person that you're in a relationship with don't see eye to eye? The relationship isn't broken just because everything isn't aligned in all circumstances. It's actually healthy if you can have conversations where you don't agree, because each of you gets a chance to learn and to grow and to learn more about each other. So with that being said, let me give you some tools that maybe will help you to have that fair fight so that you can still have a relationship you're proud of when the conversation's done. And I'm just going to be honest with you. Sometimes, you need to teach from your own mistakes. And as I've been married for almost 29 years now to an amazing wife, what I found was this: one of the things that is kind of healthy is to actually have ground rules. We didn't have ground rules early on in our relationship and in our marriage. And by the way, our marriage wasn't in a healthy place at the time. I'm not telling you any secrets or letting a cat out of the bag. I was at a place in my freedom journey and our relationship where our relationship was a little ugly the first few years. I'm just going to be honest, right? We're going to be real today because I know that I'm not the only person out there like that. Where I was at, the hurts, the wounds, the issues of my life, the stuff I brought into the relationship made it so that some of our conversations weren't great and many of them weren't positive. We didn't actually know within the first few years of our marriage if we were going to stay married. But I'm so glad that there's this thing called a freedom journey, that there's an opportunity to work on the stuff that's standing in the way of all that you were created for. And that was the journey that I was on. I say that because if that's who you are, I've been where you're at. And one of the tools, these tools, that I would give you is this: have some ground rules. Ground rules meaning this: how to fight fair that we agree on. And there's three of them. One is this: hey, lower the heat. In my household, as I grew up with my family and my parents, here's the thing that happened in a conversation that started to become an argument. The loudest person won. Whoever was loudest longest won. And so what I need to let you know is this: hey, it is actually better if you lower the heat of the conversation. If there's anger that's coming in, if there's something that's happening where that volume is getting up, agree to this: let's lower the heat or walk away until we can. And curb the language. I don't know what your language looks like in your household, but again, the louder, the longer, the ruder, the better was how I grew up. And believe it or not, it didn't help in creating any kind of atmosphere where a relationship could grow. And this is kind of a personal responsibility thing of understanding, hey, what am I bringing to this conversation that's not helping us get to where we want to be? And sometimes with language and loudness and heat, sometimes you need to be able to do this, and that's agree on a time when you can have the conversation. If you're maybe getting a little bit angrier than you should, or I'm maybe getting out of control, sometimes it's okay to set aside the conversation and say, I'm just going to walk away for a bit until we can get back together and have a conversation that drives us forward. It's your ground rules that are going to help your relationship move forward and your conversation come to a place where it's actually supposed to be. And the last thing on this ground rules thing that I alluded to before, the thing I understood about my relationship with my wife, I am 100% responsible for me. It's not her fault that I'm angry. It's not her responsibility to manage my language. I'm 100% responsible, and so my focus isn't on her. My focus is on doing my part. That's a ground rule that I think you should take to heart. When I did, things got so much better in a relationship, and it became what we enjoy today, which was a healthy and vibrant relationship that we were both excited to be a part of. And so the second thing that I would give you as a tool to help you move forward in conversations and disagreements is this. Agree on and understand what is the purpose of the conversation. And the purpose isn't to solve the argument. I don't know if I'm talking to other guys out there, but for me it was, man, we need to solve this and we need to solve it right now. But the problem was, the mindset I brought into it was that there was a winner and a loser. Right? And usually the person who said they were sorry first was the loser. And there wasn't a purpose of, I'm right and you're wrong. If you're moving in with those being your purpose, you're probably losing already. And I know I was. So here's the truth. The purpose isn't for any of those to pick sides and have one get a trophy and one lose and go home. The purpose is connection. I know you've heard that if you've been a part of our conversations, because it's been in this video as well on communication. The purpose is connection. And connection means this. We have a relationship that's greater than the issue. And so the issue, whatever it is, if we disagree on parking spots, or why are you leaving your shoes on the floor instead of putting them away, or something larger where there was an offense or something that got hurt, whatever the issue is not the purpose. We're not solving the issue. We're connecting as a couple. And in that connection, we can both, on the same side, looking at the same issue together, solve the issue that's standing in the way. And secondly, in that area of purpose, if offense has happened, if I've said something that's hurt you, or you've said something that's hurt me, the purpose is reconnection. It's getting to a place where we can reconnect and deal with what's standing in the way together. If you can't connect, then you really are never going to be able to deal with the thing that's standing in the way of your relationship. You're never going to be able to have a game plan of moving forward in a way that helps your relationship grow. So connection, ensuring that that takes place, reconnection if something stood in the way, including my words, will create an understanding of your purpose, which will derive your conversation, which will make it less of an argument, and more of a commitment to communicating with each other. And so we have ground rules, and we have purpose. The other tool that I would give you to help really round out how to have arguments turn into conversations, and conversations turn into connections, and connections turn into communication, enough said, right, is this one. Hey, what's the result? And one of the things that I needed to learn early on in the relationship I had with my wife was this. Sometimes the result is not to have a resolution at all. Sometimes it's to really be able to be willing to put your conversation on the subject on pause, because it's something that brings up hurts and wounds and things that maybe it's not the moment to really try and resolve those. Tough for me, because I'm the person that I want to resolve right now so we can move forward, clean slate, everything's done. Sometimes that's not the healthy way of moving your relationship forward. So sometimes the result that you're looking for isn't the result you're going to have, but you need to be comfortable in the pause. And that being said, on those subjects, for the vast majority of them, hey, the result always needs to be this. For you and that other person, it's, can we have a closer relationship when we're done? Can we have a relationship that actually grows in places where we don't agree? Do you know that that's possible? That we don't have to agree on everything. You don't have to be my clone for us to have a relationship. And in not doing that, you give me perspectives that I don't have, and maybe I give you some as well. And isn't that the context of what a healthy, whole relationship is? And then with those issues, if it's a tangible issue, it's something we need to resolve. Hey, can you have that game plan in place, and can you see us growing in it? The third thing that, again, was in that communication conversation we've had in a previous video is this. Are you being heard, and am I being heard? Even if we don't agree, can we at least acknowledge that we're hearing the other person and understand where they're coming from, even if we don't maybe agree with the result that they're giving? Because in that place, we give each other the permission to be who they are in the relationship. And man, that changes something from tension to health and to wholeness. It is amazing. And I know in this world, those kind of things are the kind of things we need to have more of. In relationships, maybe in yours, in my marriage with my wife, it was those things that were needed to really give us the place to be vulnerable, to be honest, to be open, and to grow in our relationship. Your relationship right now, while it may be amazing and that's super cool, isn't the end of the story. There's a purpose and a reason why you're connected. And it's not to stay where you're at. It's not to be the same 20 years from now, the same that you are today. It's to actually grow into the fullness, right? The who you're called and created to be, in a great measure, can be more fully realized when you're in relationship with somebody who makes you better and who you make better. I'm saying it to say this: whether your relationship is on the rocks, you're fighting every day, you hate the home you're in, or you're having a relationship that's healthy and whole and just growing vibrantly, or anywhere in between, there is a call for you and for your relationship. Your relationship is created for a reason. This isn't the end of the story. This is a pause for the rest of the story. So use these tools, bringing ground rules so that we don't hurt each other more, but we walk forward, right? Understanding what the purpose of our opportunity to have this conversation and the results we both want. In that place, you're going to have a relationship that others are going to look at and say, I want to be like them. You've got it on the inside of you. You can make it happen. You are equipped for the relationship that you're called to. Just walk forward in it and do it one day at a time, one step at a time, one conversation at a time. And you'll find that you're going to enjoy it and find the things in it that you've always wanted to have. Hey Freedom Family, remember this. I'm Mark and you are at _Freedom for Life _, where we give you the tools, the truth, and the knowledge to take you from where you're at in your relationship, in your conversation, or wherever you're at, to where you're called and created to be. Do me a favor, man, become part of the Freedom Family by subscribing. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of these conversations that we're having. And speaking of conversations, in the comments below, hey, why don't you do this? Why don't you put a topic that you want to have us have that conversation about? We'd love to do that, and we'd love to hear from you. And hit that like button. Let us know that what we're doing here resonates with you. Hey, don't forget, down in the description as well, we have the links to our Facebook and our Instagram pages. Last thing I want to tell you is this. Hey, would you share this video, whether with somebody you're in relationship with or somebody you know that needs to maybe have some tools to fight fair in the conversations that they're having. And don't forget this, Freedom Family. Dominate your day.